So, Stacy Leone and myself, Gilbert Manuel Bovel, we want to welcome everyone to the Shine Your Light podcast. And what is the Shine Your Light podcast, Stacy? I can give you kind of my 2 cents, and then I don't know if you want to share, but to me, Shine Your Light podcast is the opportunity to share stories of inspirational journeys from all walks of life, from people that we run into and bump into, to people that we get introduced to, that have
Famous,
gone,
not so famous people,
not so famous people, right?
people who might be famous someday. Sorry.
Totally, totally.
I'm messing you up.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Should I interrupt you or no?
Whatever you feel.
Knock, knock.
What is Shine Your Light podcast? To me, it's providing an opportunity to share with all those that are listening the beautiful inspirational stories that exist out there, um, in the world. I think that you're right, Stacy. So people, um, that you bump into on the sidewalk, that are in the stores, that are at a red light with you. You see a car, you see a person, but within all of those things is a tremendous story. Typically, there's a lot of challenges in there. And to me, Shine Your Light podcast is bringing those inspirational stories of those journeys and those challenges out to be shared with everyone, um, and how people are shining their light every day. And I'm looking forward to sharing these stories with everyone. And Stacy, thank you so much for being a part of it. And how does
Okay.
Shine Your
Well,
Light feel to you?
I um I mean, to me, Shine Your Light is really about telling the stories that don't necessarily get told, that are, we meet people every day. We even know a lot of people really well, but we may not know all the challenges that they've been through. And every one of us carries, a lot of story with us. And some people are able to get through their challenges in life with a lot of light and grace. And and I think that those people can help everyone, you know
Mm,
their lives more centered, more the way they want them to be, to bring out more of their own core essence. Some of us don't know how we get through things. There's just sort of a grace of light that comes down, and we're able to make it through. And sometimes that happens through the hardest things that you could possibly imagine: accidents, bad health, um, losing a loved one, having a near death experience oneself. And we're here to help shine a light on to those stories and those people, and tell the world how they were able to overcome their challenges and what brought them through. And for the most part, that's with some kind of divine connection, would you say?
yeah, Stacy, 100%.
And
Um,
I think also we can talk about your divine connection, because that's how this whole podcast came to be, is through your challenges, and how you kind of rediscovered who you were. I won't talk for you. I'll let you tell a story.
yeah, great segue, Stacy. Be happy to share about myself and my journey and my story and what kind of the backstory to Shine Your Light podcast. Um, so my journey really changed significantly. In 2016, I had a terrible concussion. Fell off a porch, hit my head on the driveway, and changed my life um, completely. So for about a year, I was like this, kind of like up and down, kind of rocky, back and forth. And then um, for
Meaning you
2 years, I'm sorry.
right? You couldn't go to work anymore, you couldn't play with your kids.
Yeah, yeah. So for about 2 years, the symptoms continued to get worse, and I was about 10% functionality for a very long time. Couldn't work, couldn't get to the refrigerator, couldn't use a pen. Um, it was like a computer was slowly shutting down for a period of time, and then it just went off, and it was terrible. It was terrible.
And by off, you don't mean that you were, unconscious, you mean you were still conscious, but you weren't able to be in the world or relate to anybody at all, is that right?
Yeah, 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 and off was off the grid. I had to go into isolation for a good period of time, and I was living in my daughter's closet for a while.
Because
And
lock
then
had all
towards
the
the tail end of it, I was I wasn't able to think because the actual energy that the body is recruiting to move and to function, I could feel the amount of energy that the body uses to produce a thought. And that energy was excruciating. So, processing any information for a long period of time was something I could not withstand. So, I
did
went
you
into isolation, started doing some meditation, and and I went into complete stillness.
I
Uh,
think you said at one point you couldn't form a thought, like forming an actual thought hurt your brain, like it gave you headaches?
yeah, yeah, Stacy. So any processing, any thought was like getting tasered. And what I had to do to survive was go in isolation and completely find stillness. I started practicing meditation, and I started learning um, a little bit about the energy world. Um, So the meditations brought me to a place of stillness. Um, I have a really strong faith in God. And one day I woke up and there were no thoughts, Stacy. It was completely um, barren. I was able to function, and it was like there was a tumbleweed just blowing in the breeze. And I was experiencing life without any labels, without any concepts. It was just this beautiful canvas that everything sits on. Um, and it brought me to the deepest place I've ever been in my life. And it changed me forever. So,
Back up and ask a question about that. So, was there a certain feeling or sensation that came with that kind of blank canvas that everything sits on? Was there joy? Was there elation? Or was it just completely neutral?
the way I describe it is it was this, and I can still feel it. It's just this peace that, they talk about in the Bible that just transcends all understanding. So there's just this amazing feeling of peace that it's hard to put into words. Um, and that changed me forever. Uh, my intuition started picking up, guidance started coming through, a lot of spiritual experiences started taking place. And the journey up to that point where not being able to function brought me to a place where all of the labels and all of the things on the surface went away. Being a dad, being an employee, being a coach, being a friend, being a son, all of those things are just completely non-existent, and I
When
found. Mhm.
was that sad for you, or what was the for those of us, who are listening who may have never experienced anything so profound, it can it seems like, well, were you cut off? Did you feel cut off from the people in your life, or was it
100%.
more
Yeah, I
peaceful?
was completely, devastated, personally, I was devastated, and watching my family, my kids were 10 and 12. I was such a huge part of their lives, you know? My wife at the time, uh, doing everything she could to keep the family going. Um, so it was very devastating, and
Time you were having this peaceful feeling.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, I'm just at the same time you were also having this peaceful feeling.
So I'm describing the feelings going into that moment, when I woke up. So when I transitioned into that moment of just grace and seeing everything differently, there really wasn't even any feelings. It was just peace. Um, so it was really phenomenal, and I kind of describe it as like the canvas of everything, that everything is sitting on this divine canvas that's taking place. Um, so I started, as you know, Stacy, continuing to learn about the energy world, continuing to expand. Um, I really feel as though it brought me to my purpose. But some people call it, like a second purpose or like a reincarnation. It brought me to a place of understanding of the essence that's within me that was covered up on all underneath all these labels and roles. And also I'm able to see the essence that's in everything. Um, and that brought about shine your light because I can see the light within everything. Uh, and then that brought about the practice that I started, the Shine Your Light coaching practice to help people find their light within themselves and connect with it and shine it out. And that brought us, Stacy, to the podcast where it really is one. It's one. Everything is one. And that separation and that illusion of separation, I don't necessarily see it. Um, so the people that you do see on the sidewalk, the people in the stores, we're all connected. And there's so much light in there that wants to come out. So the Shine Your Light podcast, for me, it's an opportunity to help bring those individual sparks out, um, into the world to inspire people, and it also provides momentum for the person who's gone through those challenges and is.
Mhm. Well, it sounds like a sort of a walking through the desert time for you, of really having to kind of completely regroup your whole system. And how did your life look when you? So it sounds like, accident, um, sort of separation from all the things you loved and knew, awakening, and how does your life? How is it now? Does it look much different? Are you a completely different person? Do you still have, moments of? Are you like an enlightened being all the time, 24/7, beaming your
No,
light out?
unfortunately, no, that's not the case. Um, you know what? I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Pleasantville, but it's kind of like that to me, where I really was enjoying life prior to the concussion. and the isolation and the shift that I had gone through. Um, but I wasn't really seeing the colors. And now I'm seeing it. It's like it went from black and white to a full rainbow, and I'm seeing life and through a whole nother lens. Um, and I'm seeing the oneness everywhere. A lot of people talk about, seeing God's heart in everything. Yeah, it's there. It's literally in everything. And that
Mhm.
brought me to the Barbara Brennan School of Healing down in Florida, and that brought me to meeting you, Stacy. Um, and this is a great opportunity to segue and introduce yourself, if you're comfortable.
Sure.
Sharing a little bit about, who Stacy is.
All right. Well, off the top of my head, um, I also am part of the Barbara Brennan School, and although that was not my initial start in life, I was a corporate person, a marketing person. I wanted nothing to do with spirituality or self help, and had my own set of circumstances that led me on the path towards looking more inward um, and it really is an inward journey. I find that uh, I think we're conditioned, and in our culture especially, to look outward for gratification, for joy, for love, and also to try to cover over whatever's going on in there, especially any kind of sadness or discomfort. What I've learned, kind of took me a long time and the hard way, was that it's really only by tuning in deeply to ourselves, with the guidance and support of other people, that we can change ourselves and live more whole lives. And I shouldn't say we, I should say me, because this is my experience. It may not be everyone's experience, but it is something that's taught at the
I hear
Barbara
you.
Brennan School. And can you still hear me? I'm good.
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. So it is a method that's taught, to explore, to deal with ourselves first before we can go out and try to help others. And I think we're forever on that journey as long as we're in this dimension, in this physical plane.
Mhm.
Um, and I have to say now, when I feel emotional pain, or things come up, I try to deeply tune in and I tell myself, this is life. Would I want it any other way? This is life is messy, and we might as well dig in, and be there with everything that's here. Not try to escape. We're very good at that, and I've been very good at escaping. But ultimately, it comes back, whether it's this lifetime or the next one. So I know that's a little bit abstract, but
No,
generally, I'm a writer. I like to talk, obviously, and I love to dance, and I love to travel. Um, so
that's great,
yeah,
Stacy. Thank you so much.
thank
Would
you.
you Are you comfortable sharing a little bit about your path? I mean, I know, like, I always, we joke a little bit about how, your experiences in Turkey and, different parts of the world, seem to pop up every now and then. It's always beautiful to hear, um, and you've had so many phenomenal experiences throughout life that,
Sure.
if you're comfortable sharing any of that, things
Um,
learned.
yeah, so I was. Are we still good on sound? Audio's good.
Yeah, Tyler, we good?
Um, yeah, 2001, the year of 9/11. A lot of things happened besides living in New York City for 9/11. And I was working for a .com that completely imploded, and a lot, everything in my life pretty much left. And I found myself in my studio apartment, my fancy studio apartment in New York, unable to pay the rent, no money. Somebody close to me had stolen all my money. um, and but I had my little dog, which was amazing.
Mm,
And I also went to a very, very dark place emotionally. I really didn't want. I mean, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't even want to be here anymore. And I also had my own kind of awakening where I had to sort of reassess uh, what do I want? How can I live? When you get to that place of really being on the bottom, I think that's when life really taps you on the shoulder and says, "Hey, you're still here. So what do you want to make of this? You're at ground zero." Literally, there was ground zero a few blocks away from me, and my life was at ground zero. And I decided I loved being in Turkey. I had visited there with my ex fiance, and I was really interested in helping to heal the world because there was so much going on at that time. There was a lot of hatred, and there still is, a lot of separation. So I decided I was going to use my marketing skills to reach out to whoever I could find and raise money and raise interest in writing a book about people in Turkey, because I knew Turkey, and you know, and there was the nobody at that time. It's hard to understand that now because we're so familiar with what's happening in the world. But at that time, there wasn't people like me didn't know a lot about Islam. There just wasn't a lot taught to us
right.
about the culture, and I was just so amazed by it. So I somehow raised a bunch of money. I got my unemployment. I moved to Turkey, and I moved to Istanbul. Had tons of support. I mean, it's just like the more I stepped onto my path, the more love and goodwill and support just followed me. It was really
Mm,
amazing. It was like, I was excited about what I was doing, and so other people got excited. It was just like a no brainer. It was just completely smooth for a time. And I traveled all over the country. I interviewed dozens of people. Um, but life is life, and so things don't always go up and keep going.
mhm,
um, we make choices, and after a little bit, I kind of fell off my path, and so it's been a windy road. It hasn't been a smooth trajectory. I stayed with writing. I ended up working for a magazine. But the thrust of my interest was in writing about love, money, and faith, because I
mhm.
feel like those are the things that unify all of us. We all care about those things. I got quite an education traveling around in Turkey and other places. Um, and then I came back to the States and became a mom, and still on the path, but it shifted and changed, and
Right.
now I'm here. So that was the
Welcome,
beginning of my
Stacy.
path. There was sort of a kind of a lull there in the middle, and now I feel my daughter has grown up, and I'm here. Parenting can really is kind of its own path.
Right.
So
I hear that. Well, thank you for sharing, Stacy. And yeah, it's a beautiful journey, and you're still writing, and you're still shining your light, and through the ups and downs, and that led you to the Barbara Brennan School of Healing. That I'm not sure if anyone watching is familiar with it, but you can always Google Barbara Brennan School of Healing. It's a school that both Stacy and I are a part of, and some quick background: Barbara Brennan was a NASA physicist, and she also was an energy healer practitioner. She came out with some books. Hands of Light is the first one. Light Emerging, and what's the last one, Stacy?
Or light healing. Yeah.
Or Light Healing.
Most people will have heard of Hands of Light.
Hands
A
of
lot of
Light.
people.
Um, Beautiful program. It's really powerful, 4-year program that can continue on after that. And yeah, yeah, Stacy, I don't know if I missed anything.
Yeah, I mean, Barbara was amazing. She was able to see a lot of she was able to see the human energy field.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like a lot of us have had glimpses. Um, it's really just an amazing journey, the energy healing school, and just looking at everything as energy. It doesn't make life's problems go away. It doesn't. Things still come up. I think what the school has taught me mostly is how to really integrate everything that comes up. How to take it in a way that doesn't necessarily activate, my um, all of the emotions all at once. I'm very aware now of
Hmm.
how, um, oh wow, that made me really angry. Or, for example, this morning I was, or I won't use a specific example, but I'll just use a general example of, sometimes speaking to somebody, and all of a sudden there's a stabbing pain in my heart, and I recognize, well, I don't know why I would be having that. I'm not feeling anything. I'm not thinking anything, that would be hurtful to me. And then I walk away from that person, and that stabbing pain goes away. So just being able to like notice and perceive and be really aware of one's own body, and that we're all perceptive beings. We all pick up on each other's energy, and just being really aware and sensitive to that we're,
Hmm.
as emotional as we are, and as much as we have going on, every single person we meet has that, and probably more, maybe more. So, and it's a lot to hold. It's a lot to, once you understand that, right, to really be with, we're all just pretty huge.
Totally. And I don't know if you use these words, but being self-aware of who you are underneath the surface at a deeper level really is everything. And how I see it, and I think you might see it as well, everything really is within. So, typically the journey, for me at least, was always going outward, creating, doing activities. And in actuality, the journey really is going this way, um, going into the core of who we are at the essence within, um, and becoming self-aware of the awareness and observing, like you're saying, Stacy, observing yourself at a deeper level. Who am I that's observing these thoughts? Who am I that's observing these emotions? I'm not necessarily these thoughts and emotions. I'm observing them from a deeper place. And, that's, I think Eckhart Tolle calls it the essence identity. Um, it's really beautiful. And that power to be self aware, and everything that's happening on the inside will reverberate to the outside and will come back again. It's this beautiful natural rhythm, this like vibration that goes in from the inside, goes out, and then comes back in. And the common bond that I see is, it's just as simple as unconditional love for the self and unconditional love for what's outside of you. And it's seeing it flow back and forth. Um, and then, a lot of people bring up karma and things like that. That flow is all meant to continue to bring us all back to the essence of who we are. And it's not even necessarily a bad thing. It's just flowing out and flowing back in, kind of like a rubber band, or like the ocean coming to the shore. It's just bringing this movement outward and then bringing the water back into the essence of the ocean. Um, so yeah,
Mhm.
it's beautiful how you described it. You know, being able to be aware of what's happening within you, around you, seeing things from a different place and a deeper place, and ultimately seeing the essence that's within you. You know, that's within everything. Um, so thanks for sharing, Stace.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was beautifully said, and I was about to mention Eckhart as well. Just listening to something he said about, when we, even the way that we identify our own feelings and thoughts. If we say, for example, I am angry, that's more of an identification directly with anger than if we said, I'm feeling angry. I feel
Mm,
angry. It actually programs our inner cell, our cells. I mean, it's really all on a cellular level to to see that difference. And not directly identifying with I am, like I am anger. I'm not anger. I'm feeling angry. It's like what you said about observing it as opposed to being it. And that way we're able to see it, and we're able to also shift it. It doesn't mean it's going to go away necessarily right away. It's
mhm.
there for a reason. There's always a message, whatever comes up. There's always a reason for it. Um, but we're
Thanks.
able to step away and see it.
100%. Thank you so much. And it just kind of sparked something within me. Everyone kind of has the idea that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and eventually, we're going to see it. Um, my whole shift is it's here. It's like it's within the self. It's within you. It's all around you. It's in everything, and it's not meant for some point in the future. So, the Shine Your Light Today website that I have up has a lot of resources, but that realization that it's here and it's now and it's in the present moment, and, I think that that's so powerful to have
Yeah,
that awareness.
I was going to share that. Also, I'm a Kundalini Tantra yoga instructor,
Mhm.
and I studied that in India this year. And I loved my one big takeaway was that all of us are already awakened. We just forgot.
Well said, Stacy. That's so beautiful.
Well, it was my teacher who said it, but I'm repeating it.
Mukta. I still don't know how to spell that name, Mukta.
Mukta.
Mukta. My goodness. Uh, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I think that's a really good introduction to a little bit of who I am, who you are, Stacy. Why we're doing this. Um, yeah, it's a beautiful opportunity to be with everyone and to get these sparks, shared and told and connected. Um, yeah, do you have any closing words, Stacy, or is there anything else that you want to bring up that we might have missed?
No, I mean, I feel like that was my big finale. You're already awakened.
Mm, awesome, awesome. I
Thank you.
so this is a new studio. It's the first time here. I just want to give a shout out to Tyler. He's producing this for us. Thank you, Tyler, the man, buddy.
Thank
Sam, who's our editor. Thank you, Sam, who comes in and has been with us. So this is our intro for the Shine Your Light podcast. I think right now we have about 3 or 4, maybe 5 recorded that we're editing, and going to continue getting them out for all of you, that are listening. Hope that you enjoy them. Hope that there's some inspiration in there, something that you can take away, and that you can find yourself. Who are you? You might be in these stories. There might be something in there that resonates with you, and that, yeah, you have everything that you need. and that everything around you is supporting you, and that's I think that's one of the big things about the inspirational stories, that they're very supportive of everyone, wherever they are. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna close the intro. How about Stacy? You still good?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank
So
you,
good to be
Tyler. Thank you.